You know that lingering tension when someone wrongs you? That mental replay button that keeps hitting play on something that hurt you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the grudge talking.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Touch My Health podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Katie.
And today's episode, we're going to be getting into why we hold grudges, how they affect our minds and bodies, the science behind forgiveness, and most importantly, how to let it go. So stick around because we've got a personal challenge at the end that might just change how you move forward.
So why do we hold grudges in the first place?
Because we're angry?
Right. Well, it's not because we're petty or dramatic, even though some people are,
Mm-hmm.
Matthew. It's because our brains are wired to remember pain. When someone hurts us, especially someone close, it feels like a threat to our sense of safety, justice, even our identity. So the amygdala, our brain's emotional watchdog, stores that hurt. And sometimes reliving it feels like protection to ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting because I don't know that I would, when I'm replaying something, I feel like it's protecting me, but I guess it could make sense in the way that your brain is trying to make you remember something so you can protect yourself. But the twist is it's not protecting us, it's just keeping us stuck. So,
Yeah, sometimes we hold on to grudges because it gives us a sense of power, like saying, I won't forgive you because you don't deserve it.
right.
But in reality, who's really still carrying that pain? The answer is you.
Yeah, you for sure. You're the one that's holding on to that, and that's hard to hear. Um,
It is.
it can be hard to hear. So let me ask you this. Have you ever held a grudge for so long that you forgot what life felt like without it?
Yes.
I I I,
Yeah.
I knew the
Yeah.
answer to that question,
Right.
but
I
do you want to say what your grudge was?
is
Is?
currently and will forever be. Yeah. 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 So I hold a grudge against my mother, my biological mom,
Hmm.
and that grudge will never, never go away. Um, can I forget like what it was like without having that grudge? No, because it's been so long. I mean, it's been over 25 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So, there was a very short time when my daughter was between like a year or two old where we let her into our world again and it just
Didn't work out.
things went south again, went very
Yeah.
sour very quickly. And so I don't remember a time not having or holding that grudge.
Hmm.
And I think that's played a role in my adult life because I hold grudges a lot.
Yeah. Which,
If somebody wrongs me, I don't give them the time of day again.
hmm
It's kind of one of those, once you show who you are, in my world, there's no coming back from it.
yeah. Well, and that's just also, I think you have very strict boundaries too. You're like, listen, if you cross this, I'm not um gonna just forgive you and be like, okay. And this is something we'll get into like as we go through this. But grudges come more from anger and frustration. And sometimes you'll let it go. Like you could forget.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think you more forget you're not going to forgive where people are like, "Oh, forgive and forget," or "I can forgive you, but I won't forget." You're like, "Forget, I'm not forgiving you."
Not me. Not me.
Well, I'm going to ask you that same question at the end of this and see if your opinion of that changes
Okay.
based on
Yeah, I feel
some of the
like
things we're
I
gonna talk about.
I think you can forgive and let go of that pain, but for me, I'm an elephant. I'll never forget. I just don't forget when people show their true colors, and it just kind of, like you said,
Hmm.
it's my boundary and it's the boundary that I set. And that's just, once you
Yeah.
cross that and, show your true persona, there's
Mhm.
just, to me, people don't really change. They tweak themselves so they're more liked by people, but I think the core of someone, if they're a good person or if they're a bad person, excuse me, that's just who they are. And when you put that out there and you wrong me, to me, that, I mean, that's the end of our friendship, relationship, whatever it is.
All right. Well, I was trying to think the answer like to this question because I don't feel as if I'm holding grudges,
Hmm.
but one did come to my mind and it is petty. It is petty.
Yes.
I hold a grudge against somebody who I won't say their name. A guy, you know this, because I feel like he wronged us last year during a time when he said that he would come through with something for our daughter's graduation, and then he didn't. And
Oh yeah.
I feel like the whole situation behind it was very suspect, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. But I still hold a grudge against that person. And
Yeah.
we saw them recently,
Yeah.
and I was like,
You got to stink eyed them a little bit.
well, and then the sad part is like I was like, oh hey, blah blah blah. And then after I said hello, I remembered. I was like, wait, I'm mad at you. Like in my mind, I was like, wait, fuck you. Like I'm mad at you, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that silly. But the other one I thought about was my oldest sister. I held a grudge against her for a really long time.
Oh, for
And
what?
because when I I mean, obviously she's passed away now, so that grudge is something that I wish I didn't hold for so long. Um, because it wound up hurting me more than it did her. But when I was 15, she made me tell my parents I lost my virginity when I confided in her.
Oh,
And then
burn. Ouch.
and then when I was 21 and I was pregnant with my first daughter, she went and told the my ex at the time that I was pregnant, even though I hadn't had a chance to say anything to him. And yeah, so I held a grudge for those things for a while.
Yeah.
Um, but now she's not even here, so it doesn't even matter. Um,
Yeah.
but
Those,
and I mean it kind of segues into the next part of this, which I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Those are, I mean, I feel like those are validated because, she spilled the beans twice on you with without, I mean,
Well, the first time she made me tell my parents, like she sat down with me, and the second, yeah, so, but
those are kind of tough.
yeah. But I mean, it's a good segue, like I said, into the next part of this, which is how grudges affect us. Um, Holding a grudge doesn't just take up mental space, it takes a toll on your body too. So there's studies that show holding on to anger can raise your blood pressure, mess with your sleep, increase your anxiety and depression, and even weaken your immune system.
Yeah, for sure. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person gets sick.
Yeah,
It just doesn't add up, and
right.
it just doesn't stop with your health. Grudges affect relationships, friendships. They keep you guarded, distrustful,
Mhm.
and they really rob you of joy in the present because you're so busy dragging the weight of the past.
That is extremely true. It does make you, I feel like that distrustful part was very true because when you're really guarded and you're a very like closed individual, it is hard to trust.
It
Um,
is. To let
and
your guard down, let people in
mhm,
and really allow them into your
yeah.
world and trust them fully.
Yeah, and you're dragging that weight. And it's just like, dead weight on you that you don't even realize.
So there's a science behind forgiveness. So let's see what the science says. Forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It's about unhooking yourself from that pain.
Which I think is a really powerful statement, because it's not saying I excuse the behavior or whatever happened was okay. It's just, it's saying I'm not going to sit here and be hooked and rooted in this pain. I'm going to unhook myself and let it go.
Yeah.
And there's
So
some more science.
yeah, brain imaging studies show that when people practice forgiveness, there's increased activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that helps with empathy, decision making, and regulation.
Well, the amygdala, the area responsible for fight or flight, chills the F out,
Yeah, in other words, forgiveness literally rewires your brain to feel safer and calmer.
which you would You would think something that can rewire your brain to feel safer and calmer would be easier to do. And it's not. Some people have a really hard time with forgiveness. Some people it takes a lot out of them
Yes.
to forgive. And some people forgive easily. Um, I wonder what kind of studies, I know there are studies out there, but I would have to do more research and wonder what kind of studies the people who forgive easier, how much calmer are they? How much like relaxed in their everyday living? Like
Yeah.
what are they carefree, just
Hmm.
fun-spirited people? And the people that take forever or don't forgive easily, like are they uptight? Are they always stressed or?
I've seen something before where they talk about the science of the uh, wrinkles in your forehead, and I have the one right here in between my eyeballs.
Oh yeah, I have
There's a
too.
there's a wrinkle right there, and it says that people that have that wrinkle right in between their eyes, they're always stressed or they're always thinking or they're a little more angry all the time.
Well,
And
yeah,
that
mine's deep. Deep.
that might be the case for me because forgiveness isn't just saying sorry. It comes with so much more. It comes with a lot of action. If you say you lie to me, right? That's the biggest one in my world that you can do is lie. And if you say you're sorry, okay, I mean those are just words. There better be action
Mhm.
behind those words. When you lie, you're basically, in my opinion, you're calling me an idiot to my face. I mean, that's saying that, what I'm telling you is a complete fabrication and you're too stupid to figure it out that what I'm saying is
Mhm.
not the truth. And when you catch somebody in that lie and then they backtrack and they don't take responsibility for what they said and the lie. They just say sorry. To me, that is the biggest load of BS. I mean, because that does nothing. Forgiveness has to come with a lot of,
For you, it does.
for me, yeah,
Yeah.
for me it does. It has to come with a lot of action behind
Hmm.
just saying sorry. You have to show your you're sorry.
Yeah, because that's that is for you. And we should remember too that it doesn't look the same for everybody.
No.
And when you release a grudge or you hold on to a grudge, it's you're the one that has that pain and that anger. The other person, like we said, they're either not thinking about it, they don't care, or they've moved on. We are the ones that are
Mm.
affected, the ones that hold the grudge. So when we expect forgiveness to be done by way of them doing something, it's going to set us up for disappointment sometimes because when that action doesn't happen, then you're still sitting there with a grudge and upset because you didn't get what you needed for forgiveness. And the
Mhm.
whole point of this and letting go of grudges is to let yourself go of the pain, let yourself go of the grudge, so that way you're not the one sitting there stuck and replaying it and holding on to it. So the next part though that we'll talk about that, like the steps and simple things to how to let go of grudges, but it's really for you to let go.
Yeah, just so you can live a
Because not everybody's going to do the steps necessary to earn forgiveness in order for you to let go of that grudge.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, and it you holding on to that pain makes your day tougher and
mhm,
puts stress, and then, you don't sleep great or whatever. And just like we said earlier, it affects your health. It
mhm,
certainly does. I mean, it some of the grudges I've held on to have certainly affected my sleep and my stress levels.
mhm. Yeah, there was a study actually from Stanford that found people who practice forgiveness felt more, or I'm sorry, felt less hurt, less angry, and more hopeful in their lives. And it's not because what happened was okay, but because they chose to stop reliving it all the time.
So, how do we let go? How do we let go of the grudges, the pain, the stress?
We never let go. Like and like Jack or like Rose, I'll never let go. No. She let him go. He went to the bottom of the
Poor
poor
Jack.
Jack. Um no, so there's a few practical steps, just easy steps, easy, practical to start doing. First one is acknowledging the hurt. Don't suppress it. Give yourself permission to feel it. It's
That's a
going to
big one.
be uncomfortable, but yes, acknowledge the hurt. That's definitely number one.
Allowing yourself to feel whatever emotion that is that came with
Mm-hmm.
the grudge. I mean, you have to allow yourself to feel and give yourself permission for that. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Um, Again, not the easiest thing to do, but
No.
step one. So another practical step would be reframe the story. And what I mean by that is instead of they hurt me or they ruined me, try I survived something hard and I'm growing from it.
Oh,
This happened to me. I'm going to take it and I'm going to learn from it. So reframe it.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And then another one is empathy, not excuses. Understand that people hurt others from their own wounds often. And again, that doesn't excuse it, it just can help explain it. And empathy is to me really important. I feel people who are very empathetic, and I know I'm an extremely empathetic person. I like get secondhand embarrassment for people, like I feel emotions. I have a lot of empathy. And sometimes really that can work against you. But having empathy to understand that, maybe whatever they did is rooted in a place that's not healed in them. But again, understanding that it's not a justification for it, it's not an
Mhm.
excuse, but I think it just helps to explain it and then you not take it so personally, you
Oh,
know?
yeah. That's good.
Hmm.
Really highlighting that people hurt others from their own wounds. You're a product of your environment, I think is something big to highlight there, because when you are hurt, you have learned to deal with that hurt and deal with that pain and live with it. And sometimes you then lash out and without knowing so you
Or do something,
do
yeah.
you do that same thing, or you're hurting other people because you've been hurt too, and or your heart was broken, so you don't let other people into your world, and you break their hearts before they break yours in a love
That
situation.
well, two things. First thing is I was going to say the saying, hurt people,
Oh
which is
yeah.
true. And then to that was me for a very long time. I got my heart broken by my high school sweetheart, I guess. And after that, I was like,
Devastated.
well, it was devastating for me at that time. And
Yeah.
so
Those first loves
I
always
think
hurt
I
more.
was
Yeah.
like, no one else is breaking my heart. Mm-mm. No, no. And I probably hurt people. I know I hurt people. And it wasn't like intentionally to hurt,
Yeah.
but no one was breaking my heart again. That was
Right.
for damn sure.
Yeah. And it's in the back of your mind. You're not
Yeah, subconsciously doing things
mhm,
that you don't even maybe realize.
100%.
Um, but another one is just to start small. Think of forgiveness, it's a muscle. Try releasing a small grudge before tackling big ones. So you go to the gym, start out small. Don't just be going to, you know, I was going to say Pound Town, but I think that's not at the gym. But don't start just loading up and then, and
Yeah.
you're sore and you're hurting for days afterwards. Just start small. Think of it like a muscle. Just release a small thing or a small grudge at a time and
Yeah. You can't run a mile without taking the first step.
exact. Ooh, look at you. That's so good. Um, and then another step is practicing mindfulness, being intentional. That's try meditating if that's something you're into, or journaling, even writing a letter you never intend to send. So writing it out, and
Write it
then
down and then burn it.
yeah, I said that
I love
before.
that.
That was I forget what we were talking about, but it was one
We
of
were
our previous episodes. Yeah, with journaling, yes, to write things down and then burn it. But or this, I mean, you could do that too, but just
absolutely.
practicing the mindfulness and the intention with the the forgiveness, which is going to come out in like your form of meditation or prayer or journaling and letters. So
Yep.
those are those are some practical small, steps to help get you started to release those grudges. And then we have some favorite quotes.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes comes from Buddha. Holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else, but you're the one who gets burned.
Yeah, that's so true.
So powerful.
I really like this quote from Lewis B. Smedes, and it says, "To forgive is to set a prisoner free, and then discover that the prisoner was you."
Hmm.
So,
That's that holding on to anger and
mhm.
holding on to that grudge the other person doesn't know about. You're the one that's holding it prisoner.
Yeah, they're out gallivanting, living their best life, and you're over here motherfucking them every
Yeah.
day. And
Yeah,
so,
it's so true
mhm.
because you're the one that is holding your own mind hostage and your own self prisoner.
Stick them up.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. She moves. She moves. What song was that? All right. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to leave you with a little challenge.
Hmm.
So this week, choose one grudge, big or small, and take one step towards letting it go. Write about it, talk about it, meditate on it, pray on it, whatever you need to do. And then if you're up for it, share your story with us. And we want to use the hashtag Grudge Release Challenge.
I
And
love
we'll
that.
put it in the description. But we just want to try to build a good community of people choosing healing over holding on to grudges that do not serve them.
I love that. Yeah, we'll link it in the description below with the hashtag. But let us know in the comments what you thought about this episode and what any grudges maybe you hold on to that are laughable, because I have a couple of laughable ones for sure.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Are you looking for a brand that supports mental health? Find the Good brand. With Find the Good brand, they give back 10% of their profits to Mental Health America, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting mental health and well-being right here in the United States. When you go to findthegoodbrand.com, use code TOUCHMyHealth and you'll get 10% off your next order. I'm wearing their Health is Wealth trucker hat. Good Brand, they remind you to find the good. It's everywhere. Thank you for joining us today. If you learned something and our stories resonate with you, subscribe to our podcast. That's a zero-cost way to support our channel. You can also follow us on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. They're linked in the description of the episode. We'd love for you to put any questions, comments, or suggestions for future episodes in the comment section on YouTube. We'll read them all. Again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your interest. And as always, we remind you to be the best version of yourself. See you next time on the Touch My Health podcast.